wearing an awesome shirt.
Yo, that's how we're gonna start the show today, guys. Welcome. We are live, everybody. Welcome to this week's of Fights Unwrapped. I have my co-hosts Alec Carr and Dustin Hunt with me. We are gonna preview UFC San Antonio, and we're also gonna recap what happened last week at UFC 286. But before that, Alec, I'm going to hand it to you because I know you like doing this part of the show. If you want to talk about our sponsors, I'm going to pull it up real quick so you can talk about them.
Yeah, guys, if I say this every time I do the sponsorships, if you're like me and you're in your 30s but you want to work out like you're in your early 20s and teens still, you probably want to check out rxhemp.com. The stuff is absolutely incredible. I use it. I order it all the time, regularly. I use it after my workouts. It's absolutely fantastic. And make sure you're using RXHemp-USN to get 10% off your entire order. Guys, it's a crazy deal. I can't tell you enough about how this product works. So check out rxhemp.com and use promo code RXHemp-USN to get 10% off the entire order. And then, as the non-gambler, I can tell you to go ahead and gamble. But I know for a fact Monique is in there. I know for a fact Dustin is doing it. We got March Madness going on. We got fights this weekend. We got all kinds of crazy shit going on. So if you're a betting person, visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code USN 100 for 100% sign up bonus. That's right, guys. USN 100 for 100% sign up bonus. Ridiculous deal. Make sure you take advantage of it.
All right. Thank you, Alec, for the introduction of our sponsors. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, pretty much we have one headline, but that one headline, encompasses a lot of what happened last weekend at UFC 286. So we're going to dive right into it. So I have a few shout outs to make from the early prelims and prelims. Christian Leroy Duncan, Jake Hadley with the KOs, really impressive right there. And then for the prelims, I have to talk about Jack Shore and how impressive he looked in the featherweight division. That was a really great victory by him. Yanal Ashmouz, who definitely made a statement with his KO win against Sam Patterson. That's something that none of us in this chat right here probably didn't see, because I think a lot of us picked Patterson to win. But the one prelim fight that we have to talk about, guys, is the infinite Muhammad Mokaev versus Rafael Vilho, okay? And I don't know if I should show this clip or not because it's pretty gruesome. I'm going to leave it to my co-host. Let's see if we should show it because it looks pretty damn bad. If anybody does not know what I'm talking about, Vilho was losing that match pretty badly. He was getting dominated by Mokaev, getting those takedowns, wrestling him down, grappling with him. And then all of a sudden, Vilho brings out that nasty knee bar, and Mokaev, instead of tapping, he lets it happen for a good maybe minute or so. Then all of a sudden, Vilho lets go of that knee bar because obviously it's not working. He's not tapping. Then Mokaev gets that beautiful rear naked choke. I don't know how he did it with the fact that his knee was pretty wobbly afterwards. If anybody saw what happened after the match, he was limping, he was wobbly, he couldn't stand properly. It was pretty bad. So I'm gonna go to my co-host and get their thoughts on this. Alec Carr, what did you think about him not tapping? Do you think it was a smart idea? I pretty much said my opinion on Twitter. I didn't think it was smart, but he's a fighter. He kind of stands by not tapping it. He said, honestly, I was waiting for that guy to rip my knee off. So Alec, what do you think about the decision? Do you agree with it?
Listen, that's how he is. That's how he fights. He's never going to give up. He'd rather go to sleep. So, I agree with it to a point. I'm a strong proponent. Like, there's a couple of points I have here, but I agree with this to a point. He knew that it was causing damage to his knee, but he knew he could still win the fight. And it is a big deal. The guy's gonna have probably a year-long recovery, which sucks because he's one of the best prospects the UFC has ever seen. Like, the guy's an absolute stud, and what no one's talking about is how good he looked on the feet too. Like, he's never looked good on the feet in a fight, but he actually did in this fight look good standing up. I'm not gonna say he looked great, but he looked better than in the past, and he looked decent. He's going to Tiger Muay Thai. Yeah, that picture's insane.
He's going
to Tiger Muay Thai. He's working on that stand-up game, which Mikheyev with stand-up is, that's just fucking terrifying. Listen, I get it. The guy's going to win. He's going to be severely injured for a long time. It's going to be surgery. It's going to be all kinds of things. But I will say this: it's not a choke, so he's not risking brain damage. That's my issue, is when people decide to go out, they decide to go to sleep rather than tap. Because this is what people don't realize. You don't just there's a reason you go to sleep when you're in a chokehold. It's because your brain is literally not functioning anymore. So you're cutting off oxygen to the brain, which causes it to essentially malfunction. So your whole body just shuts down, which can cause severe brain damage. So that's different. And I get what people are saying. It's a severe injury. It's going to take a long time to come back, and he may never come back the same fighter ever again. And that might be true. But that's, if we were talking about a choke and he didn't decide to tap, and, the ref didn't catch it right away and he was getting choked while being out, we'd be having a different discussion. I'd be saying that he's a moron. And I don't think he's very smart for not tapping on this. I will say this. I don't think it was the smart career decision. But knee surgeries are incredible these days. People come back like nothing ever happened. So, like, a lot of times now, and he's young. He's really young. So his body's still at a point where it's healing itself rather quickly. So I get the decision. Was he thinking about all of that when he was in the hold? I don't think so. I think he was thinking about getting a win. But ultimately, I don't think it's as big as a deal as people are making out to be. He made a professional decision in a fight. That's what he did. He thought winning was more important than the injury that he was sustaining. So I got to give him all the credit in the world for this, because he's an absolute warrior. I hope he gets healthy quicker than what people are thinking. I hope that, every tendon in his fucking knee could be torn. So I hope that's not the case. I hope he got lucky and everything's fine. Now, I will say this. No, I'm not even going to go there, because that could be misconstrued by the MMA Twitter nut job. So I'm not even going to say it. But I'll just say this. It might be, there's an off chance that it looks way worse than it actually is. Mm-hmm. So let's just wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see when the medical reports come out and what happened to his knee and his tendons, and let's see how he comes back. And, he's young. He's on top of the world right now. So I'm not going to kill him over it, no.
All right, Dustin, you see this picture. Everybody saw this fight that was watching the card on the weekend. What do you think of this? Did you agree with this decision at the end of the day?
No, he's a moron. He's a moron. If I was I'm not saying he's not tough, because obviously you are, to get your knee ripped off and just take it. I mean, just because you're tough don't mean you're smart. That's just, to be honest. Being tough sometimes is like to your detriment. That's what causes fighters to have brain damage at the end of their careers and the end of their lives and go crazy and have CTE. And that's what. And I'm gonna tell you right now, knee injuries are a big deal. If they ripped his fucking knee, just because some fighters come back from it, don't mean all of them do. So we need to get that straight. When you're a wrestler or anybody with grappling, and if you have a bad knee, Come on, bro. And those knee problems don't go away. I'm sorry. They do not go away. I don't give a shit how good of a surgery it is. I don't give a shit how much time you took to recover. Knee injuries linger for the entirety of your life, especially when you got world-class kickboxers kicking it. Okay? I don't care how good the surgery is. If you're fighting him, just kick his ripped knee. That's it. Like, it's going to hurt. And it's going to eventually deaden out in his leg. And no, if I was on his team, I would not support that shit. I'd look at him and be like, you're a moron. He had his legs crossed. He had it fully extended. When you have your feet crossed like that, bro, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. He's already got his body planked out. You're not getting out. You can't twist out of it. You're done. You can't contort. You can't do nothing. So saying that he could still win the fight was stupid. No, look at his fucking knee. Look at it, bro. Like, you're not getting out of that. And I'm telling you, if I was his head coach or his teammate, I'd be like, no, you're an idiot. Like, I love you to death. I'm cool that you're tough and, you know, you can take shit like that, but you're stupid. You're stupid. You could have just ruined your entire career right now. And you had too much of an ego to take care of yourself inside the octagon. It's stupid. Now I can understand if you're getting choked and go to sleep. The only reason I differ on that one is because guys tap and go to sleep. It happens. It happens because your brain shuts off very quick. It's not like it's like a long lingering situation. If I put you in a good rear naked choke and I have a good squeeze, it can take 3 to 4 seconds to put you out. Not 10 seconds, not 15. I can put you out with a clean choke in seconds. So I understand people not tapping to that. They're probably trying to get out and they get put to sleep. So that shit just happens. When you get put in a knee bar, you're slowly getting your tendons ripped off your fucking knee, okay? You can feel that shit. You can absolutely feel that shit. I sprained my knee one time, and I couldn't even turn right, dude. My knee couldn't even turn right. So I could only fucking imagine what a ripped knee is. And I can only fucking imagine, because I had a sprain that healed in 2 weeks, and I couldn't step on that motherfucker correctly. And so, therefore... And people got to realize your knee is the joint that's one of the strongest joints, one of the most stabilizing joints in your body. It takes twice your body weight when you step. Twice your body weight when you step. It's not just taking your body weight. It's taking the momentum. So, no, a knee problem for a wrestler, for any fighter, period, is fucking terrible. You could have ruined your career. You might have. And, hey, bro, it's not fucking smart. No, I don't agree with it all. It's stupid. It's a tough guy macho shit that needs to leave out of fighting. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify. I'm not agreeing with the decision at all. I think it was stupid and short-sighted. I'm just not going to kill him over. I mean, he clearly made a professional decision in the octagon that the win that night was more important than the overall career. Well, I'm not saying it's the right decision. I'm not saying it's the right decision. I'm just not going to kill him over not tapping. I mean, it's ultimately it's his decision. So he decided it was worth trying to go after to go after it.
Again, like I said, I'm not killing him. I'm not killing him. I don't care about him. I mean, it's not like my brother or my friend. I'm not killing him. I'm saying if he was my person, if he was someone very close to me, I would tell him he's a fucking idiot. I would kill him. I would sit there and rip his ass when we got back on the rocker. Straight up. If I cared about him, I'd rip his ass. Like, bro, you look like a fucking idiot. You don't look tough, and that's what I'd told him. If now I don't care about him, hey, you mean to bust your knee up? Shit, go ahead. Hey, no, it don't affect me. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think honestly, in my opinion, I felt like the longevity of his career, he did not really think about. He just thought, okay, I don't want to tarnish my record. I want to go and fight for the belt in, a year or two's time after I get a few more wins underneath my threshold, and that's what he was thinking about. And I didn't think it was a smart decision either, because look what happened to Thiago Santos. He tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL, and he was never the same fighter again. Now look at him, he's at PFL. No offense to PFL, I'm just saying, he's not in the UFC anymore. So we can definitely, argue about that, but that could happen. Same thing could happen to Mokaev, even though he's 22. So imagine having to recover in that time frame. You're 22, sure, you can have a quicker time to recover probably, but what if you can't? What if you're not the same fighter? You rely on your legs so much when it comes to fighting. Anyways, we gotta digress. We gotta move on, guys. I just want to shout out real quick to CJP UFC Bets, obviously one of my co-hosts. Thank you for joining us and commenting, as well as my other co-host, MMA Fight Club. Thank you so much for the support, guys. And basically, there is footage saying that Mikhail tapped out in the first round. There is footage saying, like, you know, that he kind of had a little bit of a tap going on. So just saying, there is footage out there. I believe it was the guillotine attempt. So if anyone has that footage, you know, you could probably watch that and make your own decisions about that. Another fight in the main card this time that was surprising was Casey O'Neill versus Jennifer Maia. So we'll quickly go over that and then we'll move on to the more controversial fights. I think, Alec, you had Casey O'Neill winning that fight. So I had Jennifer Maia, so that was one of my saving graces. She definitely should have been my dog of the night. But I didn't put a bet on her because I thought this fight was going to be a little closer. But honestly, it wasn't. Jennifer Maia dominated all 3 rounds. Casey O'Neill did put up a good fight. But at the end, Maia just had the better striking and the better boxing. So I'm going to go to Alec first because you did make that, you know, pick against Maia. How did you feel watching that fight?
Well, first of all, Monique and Dustin, I have to apologize to anybody who made bets based off of my decisions because this has never happened to me. I got a donut. I got a big fat 0 on the main card. I didn't pick a single winner. So I apologize to the MMA community and the betting community. I'm sorry. I don't know how I feel about that. This one, you know, Jennifer Maia really impressed me in this. Casey O'Neill is an incredible fighter. So for her to come out, it was like clearly veteran savvy that was that kicked in, and it's my issue is, you know, Jennifer Maia is now claiming that Casey O'Neill was greased up. You won the fight. Like, who gives a fuck? Even if she was, you won the fight. Who gives a fuck? So that's my one beef with it. Absolutely incredible showing for Jennifer Maia. Just she was outclassed her. I don't know what else to say. There's not much to talk about this fight. I was wrong. I was wrong on every fight. I feel a little weird in the show this week because I was wrong on every single fight. But yeah, I got to give her props. You know, I admit I take pride in admitting when I was wrong, and Jennifer Maia just proved me wrong. She outclassed Casey O'Neill, who I thought was gonna be, you know, a problem in this division, and I still think she could be. But yeah, that was pure. That was great fight. Jennifer Maia had like the perfect fight. So all the props to her.
Yeah, for sure. Dustin, you did tune into the main card. What did you think about this women's fight?
I was super impressed with Jennifer Maia, dude. She looked like a fucking world champion. I'm just be real. She looked like a world champion in there. That was probably the most dumbfounded I've ever been in a fight. Casey O'Neill looked slow, dude. She looked super slow. Like, she looked stuck in the mud slow. So I was wrong as shit. I agree with that. Like, this was the fight I was wrong on. Like, I was very wrong, bro. She was the exact opposite. Jennifer Maia kind of beat her ass, man. I know Casey O'Neill was landing some weird shots, but to keep it all the way real, who cares? It's a fight. Yeah, you're gonna land some fucking punches. So what? She got beat, man. Like, Casey O'Neill got beat. There was no, like, if I was a judge, I wouldn't even have to score that fight. I'd be like, look, you already know what happened, man. 30-27, just get it off. Like, it's not even worth even paying attention to at that point. Like, literally, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was super, super impressed with Jennifer Maia. Straight looked like a world champion. I don't know what happened, but she looked like she could win a belt fighting like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because these two, my co-hosts, say that I'm more of the women's MMA expert. So me being the only person to choose Maia was a great win for me in the column. I didn't do too well in the main card either, but there was one fight in that main card that caused a lot of controversy, especially on MMA Twitter, which I'm going to bring up very, very soon. It has to be Roman Dolidze versus Marvin Vettori. Okay? We have to talk about this fight, guys. It is honestly, I have the scorecard and I'm going to bring it up right now so everybody can look and see what the hell the judges were seeing in that fight, okay? And the stats on Vettori, he had about 38 out of 40 leg kicks, which I think propelled him to win the fight, to be honest with you guys. He did land more significant strikes in terms of accuracy in total strikes, so that was really surprising because I thought I saw another fight, to be honest with you. I'm going to go to Dustin first. Dustin, do you agree with the decision that the judges made? I'm going to bring up the scorecard in just one moment.
Vettori won that fight. I fucking hate him. I probably hate the opponent more. Like, come on, bro. Here's what pissed me off about the Vettori fight. Hold on.
Oh, good.
Here's what pissed me off the Vettori fight. Dude was obviously better than him. Okay? In every facet. Vettori is just a blown up fucking Colby Covington. It is what it is. He's just a bigger fucking Colby. He's a grinder. He grinds people the fuck out, and it is what it is. You could be more talented than him. You could be more physically. You could be a better wrestler. You could be a better striker. He just grinds you out. He puts pressure on. He punches you. It's just what he does. I fucking hate it, and I can't stand it. And somebody needs to knock him the fuck out. I can't stand it no more because he's not that good. He's not that good. He's in the. I'll give him props with the kicks. The kicks, he looked better. I will say that. I'm not too much of a hater. The kicks looked good. It looked like he worked on it. Give him big props. But I hate that fucking cat. I cannot stand that dude. And somebody needs to do God's work. Because God works. It's just the promise has not been kept, bro. I need Vettori to get knocked out, bro. I need somebody to do it. I'm gonna watch the clip for a solid 30 minutes, probably just smiling. And I literally ear from ear grinning, just being like, yeah, it's about that time. So we'll see, man. He won the fight, though. I'm not a hater, dude. I'm not a hater like that. He won the fight. I'm not going to argue. I'm still pissed off that the guy was better than him. If Vettori just grinds his ass out, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, just before we get to Alec, I just wanted to point out my co-hosts for my other shows are commenting like crazy, saying from the last fight we talked about, Casey is a bit overrated, and no one considered that she was coming off a major knee injury. This was a terrible matchup for Casey. I definitely agree with that. And then CJP UFC Bet said, it was the leg kicks, that's why Vettori won, man. I wish the dog of the card, Dolidze, won, though. He looked good too, so not gonna fade them at all. Definitely agree with that. And then with Alec, I know the scorecard looks a little bit small for you guys, probably, unless you're watching on your laptop, if that's the case. But a lot of the judges had Roman winning the first round and then losing the second and the third round, and then one judge had him winning all 3 rounds in terms of Vettori, I mean.
Well,
and so that's what
that's
happened.
why.
Yeah.
The reason he won the first round was because he rocked the shit up at Vettori. I thought it was to get my wish. Yeah. I started getting excited. I started getting giddy, man. I was like, knock his bitch ass out. It didn't work out. Vettori's got a chin. He's got a chin. And I'm sorry, when you hit someone as hard as you possibly can, you keep fucking hitting him and he keeps not going down, it's demoralizing. It just is. Vettori is the demoralizing person because you sock the shit out of him. He just sits there like rubber. I mean, it's Vettori. He backs up a little bit. He looks a little rocked, and then he all of a sudden grinds you the fuck out because you hit him with your best shot, and he's still sitting there staring at you. I will give him props for that. He has a good chin. There's a reason why not many people have put him out. There's a reason he ain't getting knocked the fuck out like I wish he would. Like, I want Ronda Rousey style. I don't think people understand. Like, I want him to be flattened. I didn't want a TKO. I would have been disappointed if it was TKO. And so, therefore, like I said, Vettori, it just has a good chin. and he grinds you out like Colby Covington. He's a little bit bigger Colby. It is what it is. Now, I think Colby's a little bit better. Don't get me wrong. But he's a blown-up Colby Covington. It's just a style.
Okay, Alec, it is your turn. Did you agree with the judge's decision? How did you see this fight playing out?
Listen, there's always a fight on every card where a judge is stupid. Like Vettori didn't win the first round. He didn't, but he won the fight. Dustin's right. The scoring ultimately the judges got it right at the end of the day. He won the fight. He did. You watched the fight. At the end of it, what was your thought? Fuck, Vettori won.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know anybody who didn't say that. So it's it is what it is. Delice is going to come back stronger from this. I really believe that because it was clear who, like Dustin said, and what a lot of people are saying, it was clear who the more talented fighter was. It wasn't Vettori, but heart plays in a big factor. It really does. So, Dustin, I think your analysis is absolutely right. And listen, everybody who watches this show knows how much I love Roman Dolidze. Like, everybody that does. But I'm not going to let my bias get in the way. I think he won the first round. I think that was clear. But it wasn't a 10-8. He didn't win it 10-8. He won it 10-9. So, like, for people, it's who gives a shit if one judge scored the first round? Dolidze lost the fight. Even if that first round was changed, he still loses the fight. Like, so who gives a fuck? It's not a big deal.
Can I say something very quickly? 10-8 rounds MMA should fucking exist.
This is where you and I, Dustin,
until I don't care. I will make a whole segment over this. They should not exist. Come out with criteria. They should not come out. They should not score any round 10-8 until they have criteria. Criteria that makes it a 10-8 round, because too many judges scored 10-8 rounds for bullshit. Straight up. Too many people do it. They don't have clear guidelines on it. In boxing, they do. In boxing, they clearly do. In MMA, they just don't. They don't have a clear guideline. I'm sorry. And beating a guy up or rocking him is not a 10-8 round. Laying on him is not a 10-8 round. I would say a 10-8 round in MMA is you're completely and utterly destroying him and he just didn't go out. That's it. That's the only way that I'm going to say a 10-8 round MMA. They shouldn't allow it until these judges get trained on how the hell they should score a 10-8 round. That's just my opinion. It's not because it shouldn't exist. It's not because it shouldn't exist, because it shouldn't, if that makes any sense. It's the fact of they need to learn how to score it. I've seen too many 10-8 rounds that were bullshit. I believe in 10-8 rounds, just not in MMA right now, because the judges don't know how to score them. It's just my opinion. I don't get it. I've seen too many bullshit ones, and it shouldn't exist. Not until they understand criteria.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Dustin. We're gonna move on to another main card fight. Obviously, this is just a quick kind of recap. Gunnar Nelson with the textbook armbar on Bryan Barberena. That was a really quick fight. Gunnar did what he had to do, shot the takedown, obviously got that textbook armbar, which I want to do on someone one day in a tournament. That'd be really fun. And he won the fight, and he still got it, after so many years. So that's kudos to him. But we got to talk about what happened between, I don't even want to talk about this, but we have to. We have to talk about what happened between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. Okay, we just have to, guys. It's one of those fights that it was a highlight fight. Funny enough, the highlight won that fight, and we have to address what happened, because I think all of us picked Fiziev to win. We all love him. It's just unfortunate, and he put up a good fight. It was definitely a very competitive fight at the end of the day. But I'm going to get everybody's thoughts on it. Alec, you look really sad. What are your thoughts on what transpired between those two men?
I'm upset with Fiziev. I am. And it's weird because I don't really get upset with athletes, but I know he's the better fighter. Like, I know it in my heart he is the better fighter. So I'm sad Justin Gaethje won because he's such a pain in the ass. He's the worst shit talker in the world. He's everything about him. He's full of shit. He tries to act like the tough guy. He acts like he's a champion when he's not. And I know Fiziev is the better fighter. And I don't need to go into the breakdown of the fight. Justin Gaethje won. There are some people who are saying, well, I don't know about that. No, Gaethje won the fight. He won the fight. There's no controversy here. And it's not the majority of MMA Twitter, but there's no controversy here. Justin Gaethje won the fight. He was the better fighter that night. But I still don't think he's the better overall fighter. And I think Fiziev will come back, like Delete say, will come back very strong from this. What I'm the most disappointed about has nothing to do with this fight, though. What I'm most disappointed about, and I put this in our chat and I tweeted it as well. Now we're going to be forced to watch Gaethje versus Poirier 2. And it will be an exciting fight. Don't get me wrong. It will. It will be super exciting, fun to watch, just like the first one. But then the winner of that fight gets a championship and will lose. Because Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje are not champions. They'll never be champions. They're not. They're just not that level. Islam will fucking destroy both of them on the ground. They don't have the skill set to beat Islam. I don't think Fiziev has the skill set to beat Islam. It's just, I am tired of seeing these two guys who feel like, and I know Justin Gaethje hasn't been in the UFC that long in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like I'm watching this division, this great division, just go through fucking rewind. Like, rewind, restart the tape. It's like Groundhog Day. Oh, cool. Justin Gaethje and Poirier are going to fight again. Great. And then one of them's going to get a championship fight. Great. And then they're going to lose again. Awesome. Cool. Can't wait to watch this tape. Never seen this before. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over these two. I'm over Justin Gaethje. I'm over Dustin Poirier. I wish they would just go somewhere else, to be honest with you. And I know I know the Gaethje and Poirier fans right now are probably have steam coming out of their fucking ears because they're so angry at me for suggesting that neither of these guys will ever win a championship. But yeah, I'm upset. I'm like the I'm like the proud parent who's disappointed in their kid. I'm the famous saying, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in you, Fiziev, because I know you're better than this. That's all I got.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed too, but Fiziev had his moments in a few of the later rounds. I remember him just kind of lightning speed with those strikes, and that was really exciting to watch.
Definitely. The guy's cardio, I mean, to be honest, the guy's cardio is fucking insane because he even said it after the fight to Gaethje. Every single one of your strikes did damage. Every single one. like he was getting hurt, and he was still like the level of stamina that Fiziev has is fucking insane. That's where he could have a potential win over Islam because he could go deep into rounds and still be striking. So I think he'll bounce back. I don't know who Fiziev fights next, but I think he gets a quick. He's not going to have a quick turnaround because he got fucked up. His face is fucked up. But when he fights again, I think he'll get, a nice little boost and get back in there. And, maybe he'll, after that, fight the guy who lost between Gaethje and Poirier. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out too, Justin Gaethje performed a miracle in the octagon. He actually did a takedown. God forbid that actually happens. I know, right? So that was one of the things that was surprising to most fans, and we all knew he had it in him. He's a NCAA Division I wrestler, but we just never see the wrestling until that moment, that few seconds of glory right there, even though he was winning the fight. So, Dustin, how did you feel about Fiziev versus Justin? Were you surprised at the outcome? Tell me your thoughts.
I was surprised if Fiziev lost, but I'm just going to be honest, man. Justin Gaethje has a God-given gift when it comes to that leverage he puts in punches. There's like it's almost like you can't teach that. Like I understand, like you can hit pads and you can train and you can throw combos and you can get good at them, but Justin just has something about him, dude, where he's so good at throwing punches from hip and putting so much muscle into that shit. I don't know what it is, and he throws it fast. He doesn't wind it up. He doesn't do that. He doesn't telegraph it. Dude, he just hits the dog shit out of you. Like he makes a regular punch look like he's Mike Tyson throwing a hook. It's fucking weird. I don't know what it is, but he has this God-given ability to do it. And that's why when he touches you, he cuts you. Because he hits you so damn hard. And he's not even getting tired. Like he's just throwing them the whole damn fight. And it's really hard to keep up with. So I'm not really surprised he won. And I'll tell you what, Justin Gaethje is the only guy I know who beat a dude silly. And I think he beat Tony Ferguson stupid. I'm just going to be completely honest. Ferguson ran his mouth a little bit before that. But I completely think that he beat Ferguson stupid. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, you think it's a joke, and it's funny, but I'm telling you, I think he beat his ass stupid. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. I watched that fight, like, twice, and I was like, bro, he beat his ass dumb. No wonder he's acting so stupid. Even worse, stupid. He beat the shit out of him. Justin Gaethje he's really, you can hate him all you want, bro, but he's a fucking animal, man. If Islam decided to stand with Justin Gaethje and wouldn't use that wrestling off fight, I don't know about that. Ask Khabib. Khabib caught some shit. I'm gonna be real. When he was standing with Justin, he was catching some shit. And he didn't want to stand with Justin Gaethje no more. Let's put it, as soon as he was landing those heavy ass hits, Khabib was smart. Khabib was like, fuck that. I'm about to put this dude in a triangle.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I agree. He won the fight, and that's what Khabib should have done. But Fiziev has something that Justin Gaethje doesn't. Time. Justin Gaethje's run out of time. He's probably got one more shot to run up the title, and that's it. He's going to retire. And he said it himself. He's getting older. So, therefore, Fiziev, don't be down on yourself. Great fight. Like, you're young, man. You got somebody. You needed that fight, in my opinion. You needed it. You needed a brawl like that. You needed someone to touch you touch you up like that. And you're going to be better for it. I tell you, when you fight somebody else not as tough, bro, it's going to be way easier for you. So I'm still cheering for Fiziev, man. And he had a great showing, too. He kind of played with his food a little bit. He rocked Justin Gaethje and wobbled him, and he didn't go in for the kill. You know, you can't admire your work. You can't sit over there and watch a dude, wiggle around and just sit there. No, he should have attacked Justin at that point. I think he should have attacked him when he rocked him, but he didn't. He stayed disciplined, which is kind of a bad decision in my opinion. But I think that he played the game wrong also. He's a better technical striker than Justin is, and he played into a brawling situation. If he would have stood on the outside, picked him off a little bit, and not got into a brawl with Justin, I think that he probably would have won the fight. It's the fact that he kind of played Justin's game. And it is what it is. You lost to a veteran that's a fucking beast. You can say whatever you want about Justin Gaethje, but I'm telling you, that dude is a monster on the feet. He's very, very hard to keep up with when he hits you like that. And so it is what it is. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, I don't want to see that shit again. But it is what it is. It's going to be an exciting fight, just like watching Michael Chandler fight. It's going to be cool. But, Michael Chandler going to give the fight away. Fucking moron. But, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But literally, if he fights Islam, Islam's going to beat Justin. As long as Islam fights correctly, he's going to beat Justin Gaethje. He's going to beat Dustin Poirier. Fuck that. Dustin Poirier, no, he's not beating Islam. But I love the fight, man. I was super entertained. It was super great. Justin Gaethje is just a fucking brick, dude. Something about him. He punches like a fucking weirdo. Like it's crazy. It's God given. So hats off to him, and I'm happy for him, man. To see if he could run for a title, and I enjoy watching him. So we'll see.
All right, so just before we move on to the main event of UFC 286, we have a few comments here. CJP UFC Bets obviously saying Fiziev is a future champ. The Gaethje is a tough son of a gun, and you can tell he has a chip on his shoulder. That was pretty obvious. And then we got MMA Jesus 420 saying all the comments. I knew Justin would win all day. I mean, a lot of people did bet on Justin as well. And then Boxing MMA 365 said he took years off Tony's life, sorry. And that's pretty much what we agree on when it came to that. So we obviously have to talk about the main event. There was a little bit of controversy because there was a fence grab. There was a few crotch kicks here and there. And basically some people are saying that Leon Edwards is a cheater, that he didn't win that fight properly on good terms kind of thing. He cheated his way there. There's a few controversial articles out there talking about that. Let's talk about it for a little bit, then we got to move on to UFC San Antonio. I'm going to go with Alec first. Alec, I have the stats and I'm going to bring them up. It is pretty clear that Leon won that fight against Usman. Usman, to me, in my opinion, didn't look the same. Usually when he stalks his prey, he's good with his jab and he picks them apart, but he didn't do that this time when he was walking Leon down. He did a few takedowns, but Leon pretty much stuffed most of them. So, Alec, what did you think about the fight?
He was clearly afraid of Leon striking from when Leon landed that first strike. Immediately, Leon throws that leg kick, and it landed clean. That was the first strike of the fight. He landed that leg kick. It landed clean, and it fucking hurt. I suggest everyone go watch that first round again. That leg kick, oh my God. That, Dustin, you've talked about the sound of Pereira's gloves make when he's hitting someone in the face. The sound that leg kick made on Usman's knee was perfectly placed. It was on his quote unquote bad knee, and holy shit! It sounded like when I first watched it and I heard it, I was like, his leg just broke in half. It sounded like something broke in there. Leon Edwards, listen, people are always gonna hate. They're always gonna hate. It's funny that people are bringing this up because Kamaru Usman is notorious for grabbing the fence. It's what he's known for doing. When he does it when he's in it, clinched up, he does it when he has somebody in the clinch. And people are gonna grab the fence. Get over it. It's gonna happen. People are gonna grab the fence, they're gonna grab the shorts. Now if you're doing it over and over and over and over again, fine. And as far as the cup kicks, he's a kickboxer, man. They land, that shit happens all the time. It's clear, and I know some of the media outlets you're talking about that are putting out these articles. Mm-hmm. It's clear who is paying attention and watching all of these cards and who isn't. That's all I'll say about that. I'm not going to point out anyone individually, but it is very clear to me who's watching these cards and who isn't. Kickboxers are more likely to get those kicks. They just are. He wasn't doing them on purpose. We saw the fucking body kicks he was landing. That's what he was going for. He was landing massive body kicks and doing damage right away. The one thing I want to really point out about this fight is how impressed and happy. Now, I picked Usman to win, but how happy I am that I was wrong. And how impressed I am with Leon. Do you guys know, and you have the stats up right now, he landed 75% of his strikes. 75% of his strikes he landed on Kamaru Usman. That is fucking insane. That is unworldly. Kamaru Usman is probably the second greatest welterweight of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Leon Edwards going in there, landing 75% of his strikes against him. A lot of those significant. Like, that's just how would Usman win? He couldn't get the takedowns. He couldn't do anything against him. Every time Usman, you want to know why Usman wasn't throwing the jab? Because every time he did it early in the fight, he got a right hook. Every single time. He'd throw out his good clean jab, and he'd get landed with a right hook right away. Immediately. Every time. He would throw his straight, right? He'd throw his 1-2, he'd miss with the jab, but follow up with the straight, body kick. Like, Leon Edwards had I said it about Jennifer Maia earlier, but Leon Edwards fought perfectly. Perfect. He fought perfectly. There is not one point where I could be like, oh, you should have done this differently. He fought perfectly. And any time Kamaru would try to do something, I don't think he could do the takedowns, because we saw Kamaru Usman has one of the best poker faces in all of MMA, where when he gets hurt, you can't see it. He doesn't show it. That body kick that Leon landed, where Usman crouched over and grabbed his body, that was telling of how the direction of the fight was going. Because I have never seen Kamaru Usman show pain like that. Like, seriously, ever. I don't know if you guys can remember any time he's ever done that, but that hurt. So Leon Edwards, you're a fucking stud. Now go whoop fucking Colby Covington's stupid ass. If you can do that to Kamaru Usman, imagine what he's gonna fucking do to Colby Covington. Such a stupid goddamn fight. I can't believe it's happening. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. We don't have time. But Leon Edwards, I mean, I'm so impressed. I listen, you guys know, everybody that watches the show knows, Leon is like, I've been talking about Leon Edwards for a long time. Like, Monique, when we first started the show like 4 years ago, we were talking about Leon Edwards. Yeah. Like, this guy has been on my radar for so long. And it just continues to impress me. I saw something on Twitter, and I'll stop with this, where someone said, who's going to win? Prime Wonder Boy versus this version of Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards! Are you fucking kidding me? Leon Edwards is going to beat Prime Wonder. This version of Leon Edwards we saw against Kamaru Usman is beating anyone in the fucking division. It doesn't matter who it is. He's beating every single one of them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dustin, what do you think about this fight that just transpired last weekend? Do you agree with the judge's decision at the end of the day?
Hell yeah, I agree with the decision. He won the fight. That shit was obvious. If you say he didn't win the fight, bro, you're lying to yourself. You know damn well he won that fight. Now, I will address that fence grab. No, dog, that wasn't just a fence grab. That looked like you was in one of those movies with the tornado, and that shit was blowing you out, and you had to fucking grab the door. He grabbed that shit for dear life, bro. He damn near took that side of the cage down. I'm sorry. That was a fence grab. That was clear cheating. I'm not going to fucking lie. But here's the thing. He got a point deducted. He got punished. It is what it is. He got punished. Mm-hmm. You can't say that he went unpunished. He got away with it. He got a point deducted. He could have lost the fight because of that. So, therefore, you can't hate, because Herb, he did the right thing. He took a point away. I would have too. Yeah, that was blatant. But Kamaru can't say shit. Kamaru be cheating all the damn time. Kamaru be cheating all the damn time. And so don't. It's like it's like the, you know. No, I'm sorry. Usman cheats too. That motherfucker need to stop talking shit. And when he was talking about the cupcakes and shit like that, bro, that happens every fight I watch. I've been watching fights since I was like fucking 12. And I'm telling you right now, I've seen a dude get kicked in the dick at least one time in a fight. There's not one fight in the UFC I've watched where you didn't get kicked in the dick. That is what it is. It's going to happen. At least you have a cup on. If you didn't have a cup on and Leon kicked you like that, bro, I'd be in the hospital. I'd be like, I'd be sitting over there. I'd baby the shit out of that. I'd be in the hospital for a week. He kicked me in my nuts like that. But it comes to a point where, and I agree with Alec, there's only one fighter I've seen admit that a body kick hurt him, and it was Chael Sonnen. And he said when Anderson Silva kicked him in the stomach, and he was like, I have never been kicked like that. And he's like, when he kicked me in my stomach, he was like, that shit hurt terribly. And I think that's what hurt. That's what got Kamaru. He got hit so hard in the body where it obviously hurt, man. It obviously hurt. And I'll tell you what, Leon Edwards is a smooth operator. Smooth operator, bro. You got a little John Jones in him with those elbows, man. That shit is beautiful. I don't give a shit. Those knees that he was landing, I was like, bro, I cringed when he was landing that shit. He kneed Kamaru Usman so hard that he brought his entire torso in the air. That was fucking terrible. I give props to Kamaru Usman for staying up, bro. That shit looked like, you know, like one of those little spring toys. I'm telling you, those little spring, and you fucking just let it up and smack someone in the face with it, and they just fucking go up. That's what Kamaru Usman looked like when he got that knee. That shit was nasty. That shit was nasty. So therefore, props to Leon, dude. And Leon's gonna beat he's gonna beat the fuck out of Colby Covington. I can't wait. And
I got news for you. Well, not news. I just want to say something. I would put money on it that fight doesn't happen.
Okay.
It doesn't need to happen, and Leon's right. That dude lost to the champ he beat twice. He needs to fight Kazmat for the #1 contender spot. That's the way I feel about it. Go fight fucking Kazmat. Colby don't want to fight Kazmat. You know why? Because he would lose he'd lose his draw. Because Kazmat would straight take his draws from him. That's why that he does not want to fight Kazmat. Kazmat would take his draws. That's exactly what fucking happened in that fight.
Kazmat is so fucking big and strong. Yeah. He would literally just pick Colby up and just throw him over there. He'd be like, get your little ass over here.
So it'd be like Mortal Kombat. Get over here. Like literally, bro. He would take Colby Covington to Suplex City. Guarantee it. Suplex City. Like you ever seen like Air Kazmat, except it's not a double leg. It's gonna be throwing you across the fucking ring. That's exactly what it's gonna look like. So therefore, fuck Colby Covington. And I am a fan of him. I think he's a good fighter, but I'm not a fan of this fight. You didn't earn that shit. You got your ass. You got beat up fucking twice by Usman. You should be fighting somebody else. Dana is sucking him off. At least when Dana was sucking Conor McGregor off, Conor McGregor, he had a reason to suck him off. He was making him fucking like 50 million, 60 million a fight. You have a reason to listen to Conor and what the fuck he wants. Colby Covington has not done shit. He has never been a draw. No one watched that shit with Jorge. If everybody was really sitting over here acting like that Jorge fight was something big, it wasn't. It was super boring, by the way. Super boring. And number two, who has he knocked out? What flash knockouts does he have? What exciting fights does he have? Does he have a highlight reel of what? Humping people? That's what Colby does. He grinds people out. He's Vettori. Just smaller. It is what it is.
Except he's got pillow hands.
And I'm sorry, dude. Colby Covington should not be the draw he is. He's only the draw he is because he runs his dumbass mouth. And he sounds stupid, by the way. Like, there's talking shit, and then there's just being retarded. At least Conor was funny. Conor was funny, at least. Like, Conor was fucking hilarious. Colby is just cringy. He's like Henry Cejudo. Like, literally, when you listen to him talk, he's like, you're dead. You're dead. And then he gets knocked down with you, gets beat up. I don't get it. But, you know, I digress.
Yeah, that I should have put Dustin's rant of the week because that was definitely a really good synopsis / sidetrack talking about Colby. It's not official yet, but Dana said they're working on Colby versus Leon. I definitely don't agree with that. A lot of people are saying Bilal should have that spot in terms of being fair and, you know, Bilal getting to where he is. It's just obviously this is supposed to be some type of money grab at the end of the day. That's what I think. Alec, you wanted to say something?
It's Kazmat. It's Kazmat. Like, can we get the fuck over that nobody likes him? Kazmat deserves the fight. He beat Burns. He deserves the fight. It's Kazmat's fight. He should be fighting for the championship. This is stupid. I've never seen the MMA community hate somebody so much where they're like, well, he didn't make weight once, so fuck him. He beat Burns. It's like in a brawl. Beat who was the number 2 contender at the time. Beat Burns. It's Khamzat's fight. I'm over it. It just is, and I'm so sick of this bullshit. Well, he missed weight. He had a bad cut. He missed weight, so therefore he shouldn't fight at welterweight anymore. Fuck off. You know how many times Khabib got away with missing weight? His own teammate, his own former teammate said he missed weight. Like this is bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. It's because you don't like him, and I understand why he's not likable. But Khamzat should be up next. It just is what it is. If he can't make weight again, we deal with it at that point. But he's been able to make weight every single fight of his entire fucking life until that Nate Diaz fight, which is sketchy to say the least. The way he didn't make weight. So I'm just sorry. It's Colby Covington. This bullshit riles me up. Where all of his fucking fanboys come out of the goddamn woodwork and just start going, oh, Colby Covington's so good. He beat Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is the definition of mid. He fucking sucks. He's not a good fighter. His best. Let's just take Leon Edwards. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know we got to move on, but let's just take Leon Edwards as a fucking example, right? He just landed 75% of his strikes, 74% of his significant strikes. Jorge Masvidal's best strike percentage is 42%. His best ever is 42%. And he's supposed to be this amazing striker, right? No, he's mid. He's not that good. The fact that he's fighting Burns is a fucking joke. So Colby doesn't deserve it because he beat Jorge Masvidal. Khamzat is the only one sitting there without a fight that has beaten everybody they put in front of him. Every single one. I'm done with Colby Covington. I want him fucking out of the UFC. He's bringing all these fucking douchebag fans who don't actually watch the goddamn sport into the sport, and they're saying, well, Colby Covington, he's so good. I think he beat Kamaru Usman both times. I think he did. No, he didn't. Watch the fight again and watch it with somebody who knows what they're fucking talking about. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyway, and I apologize. But Leon Edwards is a fucking stud, and he's absolutely 1,000% correct that Colby Covington doesn't deserve this fucking fight. The guy has been gifted fights, championship. He's been gifted 2 championship fights. He didn't deserve the second Kamaru Usman fight. To be honest with you, he didn't deserve it. He didn't fucking deserve it. And now he's taking, and people want to say, well, Leon took 21 months off. So Colby's took it off last time, so therefore he deserves the fight. No. Leon Edwards had 6 cancellations, none of them on his end. He didn't take 21 months off. He was unfortunate. One of them, by the way, he was the only welterweight, the first welterweight, ranked welterweight to accept a Khamzat fight. He was. And what happened? Khamzat got COVID. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. And then he had a series of cancellations. And then let's go back to Jorge Masvidal fucking pulled out on him last minute because of an undisclosed injury. Bullshit. Leon didn't take 21 months off. No one wanted to fucking fight him is what happened, except for Khamzat. So this is just this is outlandish to me, and I think Dana White's gonna regret this when the division's fucked because he made a decision for a short-term money grab.
Yeah, it's definitely a short-term money grab. It's definitely they're thinking about it in a business mindset where they can try to gravitate towards another market, full of quote-unquote douchebags, as Alec pointed out. It is a business move, and I know Alec has a business mindset, so he kind of understands where this is coming from, but obviously very outlandish for us hardcore fans to really think about. Okay, guys, we are at this point finally. I know we had a few rants here from both my co-hosts, but it happens in this show a lot. You're gonna see this as a trend with both of them kind of going either at each other or at the camera talking to you guys with those rants. We are finally here, and we are gonna talk about UFC San Antonio real quick. It's gonna be a quick analysis because, like Alex said and mentioned before this stream happened, there's not many prelims or early prelim fights that Alec is very excited about, and I believe there's only one or two fighters that you would want to shut out, right, Alec?
If we're looking at the prelims, I mean, you guys could the first one on the prelims, Tamir Vidal versus Haley Cowan. It's a good fight with two decent prospects. You got a couple of young Mexican fighters who are always entertaining to watch. Victor, I'm not even going to attempt his last name, but you got Victor, who's the second fight, and then you got Manuel Torres. This card seems like it's filled, the prelims at least, filled with people who are supposed to be promising, but like haven't necessarily lived up to the hype yet. Like the one guy you want to really look out for is Tucker Lutz. I know he's coming off of that loss against Pat Sabatini, but Tucker Lutz he deserves to be in the UFC. I'll say that. He's never going to be a champion, but he should be in the UFC for a good amount of time.
Okay, true. Let's get started, guys. Let's talk about the first fight, Chidi versus Duraev. Okay, so Chidi is one of our favorites that we like talking about on this show, so wouldn't be surprised if all three of us, or most of us on this chat, would choose him to win this fight. But Duraev has, in my opinion, that grappling behind him, which would serve him well. He is my other co-host Carlos's dog of the fight night. So, there's some value in that. But I think Chidi hits hard with those flying knees, those kicks, those strikes that he puts out there. So I think he's going to win this fight. Alec, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, Chidi is he's a really good fighter. He's highly talented. I think I know Duraev has all the grappling in the world, but he's also been beaten by strikers many times. So and throughout his whole career. So I'm gonna go with Chidi on this one. I think he's too good at staying on the outside. So I think the takedown attempts will be for naught because Chidi's going to keep him on the outside and keep him away with those kicks.
Okay, Dustin, do you have any thoughts about this first fight on the main card of UFC San Antonio?
If he can get beat by Buckley, he can get beat by Chidi. I'm going to just be honest. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, don't say I'm shitting on Buckley. Buckley's a really athletic guy, and he's a pretty dangerous striker if he wants to be. But like I said, if you can get beat like a guy, you can get beat by a guy like him, you're probably definitely have a good chance losing to a guy like Chidi. That's just what it is. That's really my prediction. If I think Chidi's going to win, like I said, past performances, I'm sorry. If you lose to Buckley, you can lose to Chidi. Pretty easy, if you ask me. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I knew, again, this fight was going to be a very obvious one for all of us to choose. But the next one is just a little bit harder for me to choose, at least. We got Alex Perez versus Manuel Kape. So I do have a pick of this fight, as if anyone watched our stream on CJP UFC Bets, I did pick Kape to win. Basically, I like Perez. I think he's well-rounded. I think he's faced some really tough competition. Just that Kape or Cop, hits hard, and I think that he's just going to win. He is, a rising star, even though he hasn't had the best luck as of late. But, things can change in a blink of an eye in the sport. So I'm going to go to Dustin first. Dustin, who do you think is going to win this fight?
We can't hear him.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
sorry. I must be looking at the wrong fight. I was ready to talk about Andrea Lee and Macy Barber here.
I'm going through the ESPN ranking,
Yeah,
so it
that's
might not be the
next.
same. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention when you did the order. Who is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Alex Perez versus Manuel Cap or Cape.
Alex Perez. Okay, we're talking the disrespected flyweights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 5 fighting fucking main prelims. It's disgusting. Macy Barber should be down here. It's a good fight, man. I don't have any super strong opinion. I mean, he got beat by Figueroa. I mean, he got beat by a world champion, very talented fighter. I mean, when you get beat by world champs, you really can't say anything because he's very talented. You just got beat by a world champ. That just is what it is. When it comes to the striking, I'm probably gonna pick. Damn, that's hard for me.
Yeah.
These flyweights are so athletic. Sometimes it's hard to pick the more athletic guy. But I'm gonna take Alex Perez. I think Alex Perez got the pedigree. I think he's a better guy. I think he's gonna win. I'm taking Alex Perez on that one.
Okay, Alec, your turn. Who do you think is gonna win this fight?
So if the main event wasn't the main event, this would be my pick for fight of the night. This thing's gonna be fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like Manuel Cape and Alex Perez is like just a great matchup in general. Like this is one of those where the matchmakers are like, we can all just sit back and give them credit where credit is due. You guys did it right. You fucking did it right for once. This is gonna be a great fight. Manuel Cape is, he struggled when he first got into the UFC, and some people hold that against him, which I think is bullshit. He's on a 3-fight win streak right now. Before he came to the UFC, he was touted as one of the best prospects in the world, and he's been able to prove that kind of over and over again in his last 3 fights. I really enjoy watching Alex Perez fight. He's really entertaining. And one thing I will say, I'm not going to hold, like Dustin said, I'm not going to hold losing against Figgy and Pantoja against him, especially what happened in between those fights, right? I mean, if you go look at, you guys have a chance, go look at his Tapology page. He had several cancellations in between those fights. He thought he was fighting this guy, then Matt Schnell 3 times, then Askar Askarov. It's pretty crazy. So, but I'm going to go with Manuel Cape. I am. I believe in him. I know he lost his first 2 fights in the UFC, but he's been on a run, and I know it's not against huge names that we all know, but a victory against Alex Perez leapfrogs him into the championship contention conversation, where he's starting to fight the next level of people. So I'm really excited for this fight. I think Cape pulls it out. And the one thing that we haven't seen much of Cape is his absolute strength in striking. So far, it's been really technical, and we all know he's a very technical striker, but he has power. And I wonder if we see that unleashed in this fight, because he can it's hard. The people don't like the flyweight division because you don't see a lot of knockouts. At that weight, it's hard to knock people out. It's just
Yeah.
but Cape is one of those guys that can do it. So I wonder, but I don't want him to go searching for the knockout, because that's how Alex Perez will beat him. So I think Cape wins this fight. It will probably be a decision, but don't be surprised if we see a knockout in this little guy fight.
All right, let's keep moving on, guys. Let's talk about Andrea Lee versus Macy Barber. Okay, I'm going to start first. I guess as the women's MMA expert, this was a little bit hard for me to choose, but I think, it came down to looking at both their skill sets, and I had to watch a bit of tape while analyzing this fight. Basically, I think Macy Barber and Andrea Lee are going to be a closer matchup than what most people might think. I think I had Macy Barber edging her out just a little bit. I don't know. I have to like remember my notes from my Sunday show, but basically I did have Barber winning. I think that Andrea Lee is talented as well. Macy Barber is also a really up and coming good fighter, but she has both of them have to get back in the win column. And what better fight than facing each other, right? So I'm gonna go to Dustin first. Dustin, I know your thoughts on Macy Barber, but who do you think's gonna win this fight?
Honestly, to a point, I think I've watched some of Macy Barber's recent. I think she's a little bit overrated. To be honest, a little bit. She's kind of the brawler type. No, I respect it though, because I think women's MMA needs a little bit more of that. I think it needs a little bit more of the savage kind of brawler type females that like to go in there and put gloves on people. I think that side of the sport needs people like Macy Barber. But to be honest, I think she's slightly overrated. I think it's kind of a hype thing with her because she's entertaining. You want to put her in the octagon. As a promoter, this is the type of fighter you want to put on. But to be honest, man, I see Andrea Lee winning by decision here. I don't think that aggression that Macy Barber's going to put on is going to work here. I'm just going to be honest, because when you step up in competition as a brawler, you have to be like Justin Gaethje, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be very, very accurate. You have to be like gifted. Again, just gifted by God to put hands on people. If you're a brawler like that, and Macy Barber, I don't see it. I don't see the clean boxing. I don't see the untelegraphed shots. I don't see Macy Barber being highly, highly skilled like that. She's a little bit bigger. I think that she's honestly, if you're a betting person, this is a good dog fight for you. Like, this is a great one to bet on. I'd go for the dog in this because my plus 230. I mean, Vegas is willing to lose their money on Macy Barber. Put it that way. They're willing to lose their money. And I think they're going to. So if you're a betting person, I would bet on Andrea Lee. I think she takes it by decision. Not by finish, but by decision.
All right, Alec, who do you think is going to win this women's bout?
I actually agree with Dustin. I think Macy Barber is a little bit overrated. It's upsetting because the hype train was so real.
Yeah.
It was so real. And then she stepped up in talent, and she lost both fights that she stepped up in talent against Grasso and Montefiore. So, listen, Andrea Lee's not a world beater. She's not. She's just not. I wonder if we see a return to, Andrea Lee from, of old, where she used to win by submission.
Yeah.
Because what we've seen is Macy Barber, like was said, is she's not, she's not wrestling. So I think it's gonna be a really close fight. I don't think this is gonna end in a submission, but it would be interesting to see if Andrea Lee wants to go that route to take this to the ground. But I don't think there's as much talent separation as people are making it out to be. I mean, Macy Barber beat Jessica Eye. That's not really telling me much. She beat Monta De La Rosa. That's not telling me much. And Miranda Maverick. She was supposed to be the next up.
I think Miranda Maverick, honestly, I have a different opinion about that one.
Here's what I'm saying, Dustin, is they're all of those wins are good wins, but she was supposed to be the next thing, the next long-time champion. That's what we were all told.
No, I'm saying Miranda Maverick. I think that was closer than people think. When I watched
yes. I mean, it was a split decision. So, Macy Barber better win this fight, and she better do it in a very impressive way. Let's just say that. If she doesn't, she's not who we were. It's confirmed that she's not who we thought she was or we were told she was.
Yeah, that's for sure. I agree with that. So we'll see if she wins or not. I'm staying away from this fight and the bets, but speaking of betting, there are a lot of people that are talking about betting against these two fighters in the next bout, Austin Lingo and Nate Landwehr. We got two polar opposite sides here. People are saying either let's go the train, Nate Landwehr, or people like me that think that Austin Lingo is pretty well rounded and is very underrated. And I think he's going to win this fight. And I'm taking him as my dog of the fight night. That's just putting it out there, guys. If you want to bet on him, I believe he's a plus 235 on the line. So there you go. I like Nate Landwehr. I like his style. I just think that Lingo is going to pressure him the entire time and just going to land strikes here and there. And he has pretty good takedown defense, so I'm not too worried about that going into this fight. I'm going to go to Alec first. Alec, what do you think about this bout?
The only reason Nate Landwehr is on a main card is because he shocked the world to beat David Onama when he was supposed to lose that fight. That's all I'm going to say about Nate Landwehr. This is the fight of it's, I know it's in San Antonio, but it's a Vegas card, right? It's the quote unquote same idea. This is the fight of the fight night card that I don't give a shit about. Neither of these guys are really impressed me that much. Neither of these guys are competing for a championship anytime soon. Neither of these guys are going to be, top 5 world beaters. I think Austin Lingo, I agree with you, Monique. I think he's a much more well-rounded fighter. I think Landwehr beat a guy he wasn't supposed to beat. So Dana had to give him another fight. I think that's literally what this is. David Onama, for those who don't know, is an absolute stud who's going to bounce back from that fight and quickly go up in the rankings. But Nate Landwehr, I could go on about him for like 30 minutes about how he's just not good. So I'm going with Austin Lingo.
All right, Dustin, do you have any thoughts about this bout?
You can call me an asshole, but I can't stand when white guys have tribal tattoos. I can't. Dramatic pause. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's hard for me to cheer for you at all. Because, God. Okay, I'm going to get over that, though. I'm going to get past the tribal tattoos because that shit is so ugly. But he is more of a well-rounded fighter than people are giving him credit for. Lingo's not a guy that's one-dimensional. He's good on the ground, too. He's a good striker. So I don't believe the facet that he's going to get taken down like crazy or he's going to get dominated on the ground. Man, it's hard for me to cheer because I can't. Them tribal tattoos, man, I can't cheer for that. I'm cool with that. It's just a joke, people. I swear, don't get butt hurt. It's a joke, but all jokes have true shit. That is what it is. Get over it. So, no. Damn, this is a hard fight to pick. I agree with that. Like, I'm going to go with Lingo. I think Lingo's going to win this one.
Okay, all 3 of us are picking Austin Lingo. So if anybody is a betting fiend, there you go. There's a dog pick for you. And speaking of which, do not pick the dog in this next fight. I'm warning you, people. We are talking about the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, versus Yana Santos. Mrs. Mareta Santos is back and ready to fight, but I think she's going to get stopped in her tracks by the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, former champion. Obviously, we all know what happened with Ronda Rousey. Definitely excited to see Holm get back in the win column. I think that she can win this fight easily. I think she's the better fighter overall. No offense to Yana Santos. I just seen Santos, either edge out some victories here and there by decision, but Holm has a good chance of, finishing her either ground and pound or one of her beautiful leg kicks can land on Yana and put her to sleep. That's what I think would happen in this fight. I'm gonna go to Dustin first. Dustin, how do you feel about this women's bout?
I feel like this is going to be a kickboxing match, and you're not winning a kickboxing match with Holly Holm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. That's just how. I mean, you can ask a lot of people that try to just kickbox Holly Holm. That shit don't work. Ask Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate only won because she jumped on her back like a fucking squirrel. I would have done the same shit because I'm not kickboxing Holly Holm either. Holly Holm's winning this fight if it's stand up. Period. It's point blank. Period. There's not a better pure striker when it comes to technicality than Holly Holm. If you want a kickboxer, good luck. Good luck, man. 16-time world champion of boxing. Very, very long woman. As in her limbs, man, she can reach across the ring. She can keep you at distance. Super, super technical striker. If this is a stand-up fight, I'm going with Holm, and I feel like it's going to be a stand-up fight, so I'm going with Holly.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Obviously, I agree with all these points, but MMA Jesus 420 say, hey, I got Yanamo. Well, I definitely don't agree with that, but I can see his point. No way I'm picking a 41-year-old weathered fighter. Okay. Well, I mean, like, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And then Boxing MMA 365 says Holly on points for me. And then MMA Jesus 420 countered by saying Yana will get it to the ground. We'll see if that happens. I think Holm has good takedown defense, but that's just me.
Texera was 40-something years old. Knows what it is. Some divisions you can win when you're old. I'm sorry, there's some divisions you can win, and there's fights you can win when you're old, and Holly Holm can win this one. I'm just being, this is one she can win. That's just being honest. I don't think she's getting it to the ground. No.
Yeah,
I highly doubt it.
For sure. Alec, who do you think is going to win this women's belt? Is it going to be the Preacher's Daughter, or is it going to be Mrs. Moreta Santos?
I mean, I'm not going to say I couldn't see Yana winning. Just based off of, listen, there's more to Holly Holm just being 41, right? She's a very, like Dustin said, she's got a lot of experience. She's a very weathered fighter. But she's also very experienced. That's what that means. She also has extremely high striking IQ. When it comes to the ground game, not so much. But she has extremely high striking IQ. I like that Dustin gave her the props to one of the most textbook technical kickboxers we've ever seen in MMA history. It doesn't matter if we're talking about men or women. She is one of the most technically sound kickboxers we've ever seen. And for that reason, Yana's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. She's a good fighter. Holly Holm's a former champ. If you want to take Yana in this because you believe she's going to win, that's fine. But everything in my body saying Holly Holm should win this fight. She's a former champ. She's been fighting forever. She's got all the experience to win this fight. I'm picking Holly.
Yeah, for sure. I can see all of us kind of agreeing on this fight. No offense to MMA Jesus 420. If you do win this, then that's great for you and your bets, obviously, and your picks. So good on you for choosing Yana. And we'll see. They do have the same record as MMA Jesus 420 pointed out. But we have to move on to the main event of the evening for this weekend. It is the fight that we have all been waiting for months now. It is Marlon Chito Vera versus Corey Sandhagen for a bantamweight belt and potentially a number one contender's spot. Okay, so we have people commenting already. Some people are saying the Sandman takes it. Some people are talking about Holly, obviously, from the last fight. But let's get into it. Okay, so when I did my show on Sunday with CJP UFC Bets, I changed my mind. I had Sandhagen winning, but then I realized that, Vera, in my opinion, has a really a fight IQ that was better than what I expected, and also the fact that he's underrated and a little bit more well-rounded than what I kind of realized. Then I kind of changed my mind, and I'm leaning towards Vera, but this fight is not going to be super dominant in my opinion. I think it's going to be close. We'll see what happens. I might be wrong. I'm going to go to Alec first. Alec, who are you picking in this bantamweight belt?
It's so tough. First of all, I said we got to praise earlier. We got to praise matchmakers when they get it right, because they rarely do, but it's important to acknowledge it so they continue to get it right. Fucking bravo, matchmakers! Like, this is fight of the year candidate immediately. We got two crazy strikers going at it. Both guys have knockout power. So it's just really tough. A lot of people are pointing out the Aljamain Sterling loss for Sandhagen, the Dillashaw loss for Sandhagen, the Yan loss. Let's talk about those first, right? Aljamain Sterling loss. Sandhagen, after that fight, turned into a different guy. He learned from that fight. He learned a lot from that fight. When he bounced back real fucking strong. He beat Moraes with the wheel kick, and the fucking most terrifying knee I've still ever seen in my life. The flying knee that came out of nowhere that essentially, I know Frankie Edgar fought after, but essentially ended Edgar's career. Dillashaw fight, I will hold to my guns that Sandhagen was robbed. He was robbed in that fight. But maybe I shouldn't use robbed because Dustin, we have different definitions of robbed. I just want to point that out. I think Sandhagen won that fight. Every time I watch it, it's the same outcome. Dillashaw, it was close. Dillashaw was landing shots. Sandhagen was landing almost everything he was throwing, though. Petr Yan, I mean, that to that point, that was the best we've ever seen somebody against Yan. Like, Sandhagen won the first two rounds. They were both 10-9, but he won those rounds. It was clear cut that he won those rounds. The biggest problem for Corey Sandhagen is he's fighting a guy that has the same advantages as he does. Chito Vera has length. Sandhagen has length. They're both crazy strikers. The one thing that I would give Sandhagen above Chito is he's the more technical fighter, but even there, it's not by that much. Mm-hmm. So who do I pick? I don't fucking know at the end of the day. But my gut is telling me, and I don't know if it's my gut, actually. It might be my heart, because you guys know how much I love Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
I just think Chito Vera has never fought anybody like Corey Sandhagen. And we get into Chito Vera's wins. Yeah, he beat Frankie Edgar too. He lost to Yadon Song. He lost to Jose Aldo, which is, it's Jose. But he beat Davey Grant, Frankie Edgar as well, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz. Rob Font, Dominic Cruz are amazing wins. Amazing wins. Shocked us, especially the Rob Font one. That shocked everybody. I don't care what anyone fucking says. That fight shocked everyone. I just think that Corey Sandhagen is the more creative striker. I think he's going to attack at Chito's legs like he's never had his legs attacked before in his life. And then he's going to transition to applying pressure and throwing that knee off the back foot that Corey Sandhagen has perfected that strike. Throwing that knee off the back foot, while he's backing up is what I'm talking about. It is scary when he throws that. So I think Corey Sandhagen I think he's going to win this fight. I actually think this does go the distance. A lot of people are saying somebody's going to sleep. I don't think this is ending a knockout. I think you're going to see the first round or two be a chess match because they both want to counter. So you're not going to see a lot of interaction real quick. But I think Corey Sandhagen's the more technical fighter. I just think Chito hasn't seen anybody like him. But I want to say this, and this is what I'll end with. Chito Vera, you have earned my respect. Not that you care or give a shit about it, but you've earned my respect as an MMA fan. You've proven to be more than just a shit talker, because that's what he was known as, was just the guy that's talk shit, but he's been backing it up. So I wouldn't be shocked if Vera won. I'm like 45-55 split right now on my pick. I'm real fucking close. But I think Sandhagen can edge him out.
All right, Dustin, who do you have in this main event for the bantamweight, hopefully #1 contender spot?
I'm going to lead off my argument with Sugar Sean was going to beat your ass, Chito. So don't get too excited. That's number one. But again, I agree with Alec. He's earned my respect, man. I can't say shit about Chito. That boy is a beast. I'm sorry. Boy is a beast. The only thing that I'm worried about with him and Sandhagen, I think Chito's a little bit more gritty than Sandhagen.
Yeah.
I think Chito's a little bit more well-rounded than Sandhagen. I think if Chito's smart in this fight, he level changes. And yes, I know people are going to be like, well, Sandhagen's going to cock the knee back. Well, you can cock the knee back all you want. As long as the takedowns are accurate and timely, you can cock your knee back. The only time that loading up the knee works in the takedowns is when they come from a long shot. So when they come from a very long takedown shot, you can land the knee because that knee hasn't hit the mat yet. They haven't grabbed the hips. You can do that. But as long as Chito presses him a little bit and level switches where that knee is not going to work, I think he's got a shot because Corey is very thin-bodied. Like, I think he's a little bit easier to take down, in my complete opinion. I think that's what he had. He had problems with Dillashaw. Dillashaw may have been the smaller fighter, but Dillashaw was a much better wrestler. And I think that's where Sandhagen had his problems because TJ is not the one to go away from feinting takedowns to putting you against the fence to grabbing you by your hips and dragging you down. TJ Dillashaw does not have a problem with that. So I think and I agree with Alec, man, that fight was so close, though. Like, you could say Sandhagen won. I think it's MMA judging. I told you, MMA judging is bullshit. The way they look at stuff, if you look at that fight like an MMA judge, TJ's got a good stamp. If you look at it from a fan, Sandhagen won. It is what it is. Like when you're thinking like a judge, it's just so different. And there's certain things, there's certain momentum switches and rounds that where TJ had a very good case to win 3-2. And I think Chito is going to do the right thing in this fight. I think he's going to fight dirty. I think he's going to level switch. I think he's going to grab hips. I think he's going to be a true MMA fighter in this fight. I'm picking Chito, man. I really think he's going to do. I really think he's going to do to Corey Sandhagen something he doesn't want him to. And
I just have a question on that. You think Chito's ego is going to let him not try to have a stand-up brawl with Sandhagen?
No, though, because like when I've watched him fight, I don't know what it is. Like I don't see ego, you know. I really don't. Like I think Chito, even against Rob Font, like Chito wasn't very egotistic. Even when he fought Dominic Cruz, I wouldn't say that was egotistic. I would say that was he just got the better of him. Like I didn't see him go and do dumb shit like Max Holloway. Max Holloway does egotistic shit. Max Holloway points in the center of the octagon, and you're basically asking to get clipped. That's not Chito. Chito is not like that. He's not a big attitude fighter. I think that he's gonna do great, in my opinion. I think he's gonna beat him. I don't think he's an ego fighter.
Okay, guys, that wraps up our 1.5 hour stream on both UFC San Antonio and then our recap of UFC 286. Next week, I don't believe there's fights, but in 2 weeks, we have UFC 287. I can't believe it's coming up. We have Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, I guess you could say the rematch, or I don't know how many nth times they fought in a while, but and then you have Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns, which is a little bit of a beef here and there. You can argue with that. I'm not too excited about that fight, to be honest with you. I think Burns is gonna steamroll him, but we'll talk about that in 2 weeks' time, guys. Thank you to my co-host.
Wait, can I say one? I just want to say one thing real quick. End it on a bang. The most overrated PPV maybe of all time is this one. The most overhyped PPV of all time. So let our fans digest that as we say goodbye.
Yes, that's for sure. Thank you to my co-hosts Alec Carr and Dustin Hunt. Everybody, tune in next week. We might have some headlines we're going to talk about, but for now, we're going to say goodbye. Happy Fight Week, guys. Thank you for everybody who listened, and we will see you guys all later. See you guys.